Kaaria, yes.
Okay. So I heard some of your music and you have a unique style that blends
Yes.
different languages in your music. Why did you choose to go in this direction?
So the different language specifically is Swahili, and Swahili is my native language from Kenya.
Okay.
So it's, uh, it's an East African local language. So for me, using Swahili, almost 100% of East Africans understand Swahili. So because of my roots and my native language, I include Swahili in my songs for that audience back home. And English is just a global way of commercializing my music so that in case it goes beyond East Africa, people can also understand part of the song. So using Swahili is my way of just keeping true to myself, to my African roots.
Okay. So you're out in the United Kingdom right now. How was that transition from Kenya to London?
It was a very huge transition because in Kenya I have my whole family. It's where I've grown up all my life. So moving here alone, I have a few family members around. The shift was also the weather change. In my country back home, the weather is very stable, but here there's like winter and now we're in the summer, so the cold kind of traumatized me in the
Yeah.
beginning. But the transition was still not as smooth, but I adapt quickly. So far so good. I can't complain.
Yeah. You've been named this month's next East African artist by Apple Music. How did you feel when you saw that accolade?
It was truthfully speaking, it was validating because I've been doing music for 5 years as a solo artist. I started out in a rock band. So Apple Music recognizing me as the Apnex and unveiling me, especially for East Africa, it meant that they recognized my music is a sound that is slowly going to grow into the region. And the same way Afrobeat has been blowing up, I think they saw potential in the sound I have been doing. So it was validating that I've been doing the right thing. So I keep on going. And it was a really good feeling. I was excited.
Okay. So how would you describe your sound and style to a listener that never heard it before?
I describe it as a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's a sound that we've infused a lot of elements. So from my rock background, we have infused a lot of electronic guitars and electronic synth. So we've also infused some amapiano because of the influence we've had in the African continent.
Yeah.
And so I will describe it as an Afro fusion, but a pop sound because it's the choruses are very pop. So that's the kind of sound I'll describe it. I'll describe it as Afro pop, Afro fusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done some concert events. I see you opened up for the Grammy Award-winning artist Kofi. How was that experience?
That was actually the first time I performed on a major stage. So I was part of the first cohort in Kenya for the Perform Incubator, and the founder is the organizer of the Blankets and Wine.
Yeah.
So having a chance to perform for Coffee was a way of showcasing what we had learned in the incubator, and it being my first time, it was really exciting and also very scary because it was a really big crowd. But at the end of the day, since music is still the passion inside me, I remember I got on stage and I forgot about the anxiety I had before and I just let go. So that was the best experience for me ever for first time big sets like that. And I ended up saying hi to Coffee backstage, and she
Yeah.
also and she also just said you really did a good job. Like, yeah.
Okay. So what would be some of your dream collaboration?
Uh, Locally, I have a few artists I really want to work with. We have artists called there's Bien. Bien Aime from Sauti Soul. He's a lead singer from Sauti Soul. I really like his writing. And there's another artist called Benso. Internationally, definitely The Weeknd, Beyonce. I recently went for her tour. So one day, I don't know, I hope she just stumbled into the African sauce and
Yeah.
tapping. Seen her doing collaborations with the West African and Amapiano for the Gift album. So Beyonce is definitely keeping an eye on the new African sound. Another artist is Doja Cat. So Doja Cat, The Weeknd, Beyonce, I really kind of love their sounds and I've listened to their music for a very long time. So they're definitely.
Yeah, just Saturday, Doja Cat announced a tour with Ice Spice.
Sorry?
Just heard today, Doja Cat announced a tour with Ice Spice. So maybe she'll be coming up to UK.
Oh, wow, that's a concert I'm also looking forward to. You can see she's also tapping into the new age artist. Ice Spice is a new age
Yeah.
rapper. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You have a new project. Oh, could you tell us about it?
Yes, my new project is called Acme. Acme, if you look at it in the dictionary, it means the highest point, a peak. So I decided to choose that as the album name. It's a two-volume EP.
Yeah.
So we are going to be releasing the volume one. I just announced it yesterday. It's going to be out on the July 21st.
Yeah.
So I chose that specific name because it's been 5 years in the industry, and I feel like I've reached a point where I can see where I want to take my music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the beginning of my Acme years, and it was a way of me. In the album cover you can see me looking up, so I'm looking at my higher self and I'm kind of ready for the journey to go and tap into my Acme. So there's going to be Acme volume 1, Acme volume 2, and hopefully when I reach my ultimate Acme, we've had 10,000 hours. Is like once you reach your 10,000 hours, you're a master of your craft. Right
Yeah.
now, 5 years is like 5,000 hours. So once I reach my Acme, I'll probably release a project called the Ultimate Acme. So it's like a trajectory, it's a line of a
Yeah.
series of projects I want to remove under the name Acme. So that's why.
So speaking of those 10,000 hours, you
Yes.
do live performances and you create music in the studio. How do the two lanes work for you? What's the difference, or is there any difference for you?
Yes, there is a difference. Being a studio artist, you only work on your vocal arrangements. So you can wake up in the morning with your morning um, sound, vocal sound, and there's a way you sing in the morning that won't sound the same way you sing in the afternoon or in the evening. So the music you produce in studio is using your best vocal sound, and then you have a producer who also enhances your vocals. So a studio producer necessarily doesn't end up being a performing artist.
Yeah.
A performing artist takes a lot of rehearsals with a band because there's live interaction. The dynamic is different. You're no longer in a closed um, studio where you're recording your vocals. You can whisper.
Yeah.
Performing, you have to have a lot of vocal control, breath control, moving around, being able to talk to the crowd. So it takes a higher notch skill to become a performer
Yeah.
rather than being a studio artist. So a performer can be a studio and performing artist, but a studio artist necessarily doesn't end up being the best performing
Yeah.
artist. Yeah.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you'd like the people to know about you?
I would like them to know that I want to tap into the British industry, so I'm also looking around for collaborations here because I want to stay in Britain. I love Britain. So I'm
Yeah.
looking into drill. I don't know if in the future I'll be able to enter to like also get influenced from the drill. and see how we can collaborate more with British artists, like to just tap into the market. I think that's an interesting market that I really want to tap into as an artist from Kenya. So it's not been done. So
Yeah. So where
yeah,
can
but
people find you? Can you
people
just
can find
please?
yeah, people can find me on YouTube. I have a new song out. Visually, it's called Unipende. It's one of the singles from my upcoming project. Kash Kaaria, that's the name. That's KASHKAARIA. On Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Kash Kaaria, and all my platforms. That's where you find me and my music.
Okay.
On Spotify too, Apple Music, Kash Kaaria.
Okay. Good. Good. Go check you out.